Fandoms are everywhere. Chances are, you're in a fandom even if you aren't aware. A fandom is defined as the fans of a particular person, team, fictional series, etc., regarded collectively as a community or subculture.
There's the traditional stigma of, oh, you're just a lonely person who stays the whole time in a home, which it isn't true. Like, people who are in fandoms are just as sociable as everyone else.
I think fandom has a more positive spin on it now, whereas before it's like, oh, you're a super fan, you can't just be obsessed with one thing. Well, yeah, you can, and it's not a bad thing at all. You know, you're passionate about something. It's just a different way of looking at it.
As a participant in a few fandoms myself, I love being able to meet people from across the globe on social media and bond over our favorite shows and games. But interacting in real life, that's even better. I sat down with my friend Ben to discuss his experience with fandoms.
So D&D is a really interesting game because there's not really anything quite like it in the world. It's not quite acting. It's not quite a video game. It's not quite a board game. It's this weird amalgamation of the three. And what's really cool about the game is it does something that no other medium I've ever come across does. It's like a shared imagination experience. You and your friends are thinking back to when you try and achieve this goal, but you all have a different side of it in your head. You're all still in the cave, but you don't remember sitting around a table in a friend's gaff rolling dice. You remember casting that spell as if you were there. You remember swinging that axe as if you were there. D&D doesn't happen there in the moment. It all happens up here, collectively, which, you know, kind of a social medium is something that's just not achievable anywhere else.
Although there has been positive growth in fandom culture, pop culture fans are also the most associated group with stereotypes around fandoms. The stereotype of the obsessed loner and the loner nerd has long been associated with pop culture fans. On a recent trip to Comic Con, I spoke with fans who've encountered these stereotypes.
It's very funny, you can very quickly see people do get criticism. I remember one incident in particular where someone was leaving a comic shop and someone on the street called them a nerd from across the road, and then they were pointed out, there's like, you're actually wearing a Superman t-shirt. You know, there are dynamics of pop culture that I suppose integrate everywhere. While there might be an initial kind of distancing or, you know, people not recognizing the place of fandom or these kind of geek cultures, I guess, they really are easily identified when you just, you know, scroll it back a second, because everybody can revert back to childhood and say, you even get people of, you know, in their 70s go, oh, I'll tell you about the Lone Ranger, and, you know, so everybody's got their something they can relate to, something they were passionate about. You're never too old to have a happy childhood. So, you know, there's always something you can find. People aren't as distant as they feel.
Despite the stereotypes that fans are lonely and lacking social interaction, fandoms are actually very social communities and provide many social benefits. Researchers have found that fandoms build interpersonal skills and develop interpersonal relationships between fans and the communities. Fans show a positive increase to self-esteem and self-worth, and they have increased sense of belonging and tend to be generally happier people. I asked some fans what social benefits they've experienced from belonging to fandoms.
Fandoms is such a good way to meet new people. You're able to be with people who are interested in the same things as you are. You're able to be with people who think the same way, who like the same things, who are wanting to meet other fans. And it's just, because communities are also welcoming. When you have a good fandom, it's like a family.
Well, for one, nerds and geeks used to be, you know, introverts. Now they're becoming a little more extrovert. They feel a little more comfortable. I think it's definitely a positive thing because, you know, with social media especially, and we're talking about people who have been afraid in the past to say, you know, I'm depressed or I feel alone. You know, now it's like you're not only, you know, not alone in your fandom. You're not alone in life. You know, we're all in this together.
Oh, it's great. I mean, some of my best friends are giant nerds, and that's fantastic. And they wouldn't be my friends without our shared interests, because that's what brings us together in the first place. You need something to attract you to people, so you can get to know them a bit better. And having a shared interest, having a passion, is a really fantastic way to do that.
Because pop culture fandoms are still surrounded by stigmas and stereotypes and are still misunderstood, we asked some fans what they would like people who don't understand fandoms to know.
You have that connection that you're not a complete, you know, nerd of nature kind of a thing, that there's other nerds out there and you're all kind of on the same wavelength. And it's lovely to come here and see like another Jedi or Star Wars and be like, oh yeah, and you have that moment of connection. I'm a fan too. So it's just been great.
I mean, it's just a social occasion. It's similar to anything else that you might do as a collective group of people. It's just whether or not you're into it. I don't find them kind of a little bit of a stigma, but really it is just people doing things. And if the other people around you are interested in doing them, then that's good fun.
You know, it's important to be passionate about something. Fandom is a good thing because it unites people. Passionate people being passionate together is just a beautiful thing.
I remember growing up, it was anytime you saw someone in a Spider-Man t-shirt or something, it was like, oh my God, you know the words I know. We can talk to each other. And that was a great thing. And I think, certainly getting older, I've lost a little bit of sight in that on how it was so niche. I'm sure there's still people out there who feel that, oh my God, I'm the only one in the world who likes this thing. And you're not. There's so many people out there who share your passion, who share things you love. And they're all just friends you're waiting to meet.
See, pop culture fandoms are just people coming together to bond over what they're passionate about. And like Joe says,
You're never too old to have a happy childhood, so let's all be kids together and have a little bit of fun.